Hey kids, welcome back to your second day of language arts. Today's reflection question is, what's your favorite breakfast food and why? Don't just say Captain Crunch. Tell us why you like Captain Crunch. Do you like the milk? What is it? Use descriptive adjectives and be thoughtful. 2 to 3 sentences. Have a great day. Hey, thanks, Rex, and welcome back, everybody. Mr. Ermer here for your second day of language arts, and it's a beautiful day. It's Wednesday. I'm recording Wednesday at about noon. Your advisory teachers are reaching out to contact your parents today, see what's going to be the best way of contacting you directly in the future. And so you can expect to hear from them coming up here in the coming weeks. Get outside. Make sure you're continuing to do your social distancing, but I know I'm getting antsy in my apartment, and I'm trying to keep myself healthy and occupied outside, keeping and exercising. All right, 7th grade. My favorite breakfast food is pancakes with real maple syrup. That's my fave. I've got 4 agenda items today. Before we get into our read aloud. One, I'm going to talk and clarify what the distance learning schedule looks like. 2, I'm going to clarify how important flexibility is while we all adapt to distance learning. 3, I'm going to be talking about ways of contacting me specifically. And then lastly, I'm going to go over today's mini lesson. And that's that. So let's talk about our distance learning schedule. Oh, you may have noticed I'm wearing flip-flops. I got into a soccer match with a jar of pickles on Sunday and got a cut on my foot. But I love pickles so much, I went out and got a brand new jar of pickles again. So I didn't want to put on any socks or shoes yet. And I don't want to show you because some people get grossed out by that stuff. All right, if we have a 5-day week, next week we only have a 4-day week. So I'll talk about that after I clarify what a 5-day week looks like. So when we have an ordinary 5-day week, this is what it looks like. I had a lot of messages in Schoology on Tuesday from students asking me, hey, where's our new lesson? What are we doing today? Well, I didn't have a new lesson on Tuesday because this is what our distance learning schedule looks like. And so you'll see it. You really only have 2 lessons from each of your classes every week. And here's how it's laid out. Mondays are A days. You only have to work on your 1, 2, 3, and 4 hours. Tuesdays are B days. You're not going to get a new lesson from your 1, 2, 3, 4 teachers. You're just going to work on your 5, 6, 7, 8 teachers or work. Wednesday, you're not going to have new content from any of your teachers. Instead, all of the CGMS advisory teachers are going to be reaching out to their advisees, just checking in, seeing how things are going, any questions, troubles, things we need to be aware of, things we need to kind of forward on to the office because perhaps you're having internet connectivity issues or devices that need to be gotten out to you. So that's all advisory Wednesdays are meant for, is just making connections with our advisories. Thursday, we go back to school with A day again. So it's your second day of content with your A day teachers, your 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. And then Friday, you go back to B day. So it's your second day with your B day classes, which are your 5, 6, 7, and 8. So again, just to clarify, and what I did down at the bottom here, you're going to be having 2 lessons a week from each of your teachers. And I, for clarity, in Schoology have created folders which are labeled by the dates of the week. So if you go back into Schoology, I've created a folder for this week that's labeled March 30th through April 3rd. And in there, you're going to see 2 lessons. And I'm going to label them this way. All the day 1 activities, which will be done on Monday and Tuesday, are going to look like this. I'm always going to post a video of myself giving updates, checking in, maybe explaining the day's lesson a little bit, and doing the read aloud. Rex is always going to give us a reflection question. There's always going to be a day one Rex, or there's always going to be a Rex reflection assignment where you can post those 2 to 3 sentences. There is always going to be an activity and an assignment. Sometimes these two will be combined, so just have some flexibility with that, but that'll be pretty clear. And then you'll have similarly in the weeks folder, you'll see the Thursday and Friday activities will be labeled day 2, video reflection classroom activity assignment. That's it. Hopefully that'll clarify that for many of you. I know several students were reaching out to me. Hey, where's our new lesson on Tuesday? Well, again, you're only getting new content twice a week. And that's just going to be for the remainder of distance learning. All right, the second agenda item was flexibility. So I know I had a lot of students messaging me, panicking, saying, I can't find the assignment. I don't see it. We are aware, the whole staff is aware, the office is aware, Schoology is aware that there are a lot of issues, and those issues are caused by the new rush of people accessing those websites all at the same time. We've all used Schoology before, but usually the whole school isn't using Schoology at the same time. And guess what? With COVID-19, now the whole world, in a way, is accessing these education websites, or at least the United States. And the schools are all accessing those websites at the same time. So now we have hundreds, millions of students accessing these websites all at the same time. And so what that's causing is these systems, these servers, to really slow down, sometimes crash. Today, I wasn't even able to log into Schoology. And so with that, your teachers have all gotten the message that we all need to be flexible. So do not panic. We're not going to be harsh on you. Be patient and try again. Some suggestions I have for you are restarting your devices frequently and messaging your teachers. Just let them know, hey, I couldn't see the submit button. That was a common one for Rex's reflection question. Hey, there's no submit button. And I got about 50% of students being able to submit, and then a handful of students messaging me that they couldn't even see the submit button. So restart your device, try it again. If that doesn't work, my advice to you is just message me your response. Just reach out to me. Hey, I tried this. It didn't work, Mr. Ermer. Here's my response. That'll be fine. Yeah, that's flexibility. Just be flexible, be patient. Do not stress about this. And that's really the message I want to get to you. Third agenda item is contacting me specifically. Coming up here at the end of day Wednesday, I'm going to be adding a new document. It's going to be labeled. Once you go into the distance learning folder, it'll be at the top of that distance learning folder. It'll be Mr. Ermer's contact information. It'll be a document. It's going to give you information about my email address. It's going to be giving you information about how to call me directly. Currently, again, with that flexibility, my phone number that is set up through my computer isn't working. So that phone number might not work. But what I have had consistent luck with is my email address. So just email me directly. And then with that, I can send you information. Also in that document will be about Google Meets. I have tested out Google Meets with lazy. I have set up some Google Meets with students. That's working great. We have permission to set up virtual meetings where we can even video each other if your devices have cameras and microphones. Otherwise, you could just text in the Google Meet and you could hear me, and that could be a really efficient way for me to explain and answer your questions. So keep an eye out for that contact information. And I feel dead in the water. That's an idiomatic expression. My Schoology is not working. My phone is not working to contact my advisees, and that's why I'm recording this video right now, just so I can do something. I feel a little ineffective. I don't feel productive because all these complications with the internet. And so Be flexible. Go do something else. Take a break. Go for a walk while you social distance. But just please don't stress yourself out. Again, I feel dead in the water today because I don't have access to my students in my Schoology and other services. All right, the last agenda item was today's mini lesson. It should be pretty self-explanatory. So it's an article titled "Liberation of Nazi Concentration Camps." There's an assignment in Schoology. Click on the assignment. Once you go into that assignment, there is a document. Download that, click on that document, download it into your own Google Drive, and you're going to see the articles right in that document. So the directions are at the top of that document. It'll explain what you need to do. It's a lot of interacting with the text, highlighting things in different colors, and answering some questions at the bottom using our nonfiction signposts that we've been working with. So that's it. Open the assignment, download the article into your own Google Drive, and then follow the directions. I think they're pretty self-explanatory. If you have any issues with that over the next couple of days, go into the Mr. Ermer's contact information. Email's the best way. I could probably send you a link to my Google Meet, and then I could even verbally explain things if you want to talk. You're not bothering me. I heard that from students too. Don't be afraid to reach out. Email me. I'm on my computer, and I'm very responsive to email, especially since Schoology and my phone is not working. So be patient. Contact your teachers if you're having any issues. Oh, hold on. I just got a buzz. I got to see who's at the door. Hello? Hey, kids. Courage the Cougar here. I heard Rex asking questions about breakfast. I love breakfast. As a cougar, I love deer. All right, I'm a cougar. See you later. All right. Good. How you doing? I think somebody ding dong ditched me. I don't know what the heck that was about. All right. To review, I went over the schedule. You're only expecting content from each of your teachers twice a week. One, either Monday and Tuesday, and then the second time on either Thursday or Friday, depending on which hour you have that teacher. Be flexible, be patient, and contact your teachers. Everyone's going to have their own unique way of being contact or what works best for them. Mine's going to be email. I'm going to be able to give you some directions about how to set up some Google Meets, because that is an effective way to actually speak with me or see me. That's fun too. Sometimes we're all going to feel dead in the water, so don't let that get you down. Don't let it stress you out. And that's it. All right, a read aloud with Loser by Jerry Spinelli, Chapter 11. Mailman. In the spring, Mrs. Biswell is certain that Zinkoff will be absent at least one day. Take your kid to work day. The boy is forever blabbing about his father, the mailman, and that he himself is going to be a mailman when he grows up. Surely he will want to go to work with his father that day. The teacher is both right and wrong. Zinkoff definitely wants to miss school on Take Your Kid to Work that day, but the post office will not allow children to accompany postal parents on their routes. They say it is too dangerous, and besides, the mail jeeps have only one seat. Zinkoff has been begging his father for years to take him to work. Now, the thought of watching other kids go to work with their parents while he stays behind is too painful to bear. Every day he pesters his father. I can't, says his father. They'll fire me. Do you want them to fire me? The youngster can only shake his head and pout, and the pestering starts all over. Days of this. At last, Mr. Z has an idea. Okay, he says. I can't take you to work officially. I can't take you on a work day. I can't take you in the Jeep, so here's what we'll do. When Zinkoff hears his father's plan, he rushes next door to tell Andrew. I'm having my own day. Take Donald Zink off to work day. It's going to be on Sunday. Now I can do it and my dad won't get fired. I'm going with my dad on the real take your kid to work day, says Andrew. My dad's a mailman, says Zinkoff. I'm going to deliver mail. My dad's a banker, says Andrew. They are in Andrew's backyard. Andrew is batting a They are in Andrew's backyard. Andrew's batting a ping pong ball against the wall with his mother's pancake spatula. He borrowed the ping pong ball from Zinkoff weeks before. I'm going to make money. I'm going to ride my dad's clunker. I'm going to ride to work on the train all the way to the city. I'm going to carry my dad's mailbag. He says it's really heavy, but I'm going to carry it. Andrew turns and whacks the ball as hard and high as he can. It sails to the Zinkoff's roof and rolls into the rain gutter. I'm going to sit at my dad's desk. He said I can even sit in the vice president's chair. Zinkoff stares up at the rain gutter. That was his only ping pong ball. I'm having lunch with my dad. We're going to eat right there in the clunker. We're eating lunch in a restaurant. Sometimes the mayor goes there. My dad says he gets a raise. We're out of here. He says we're never coming back to this dump. Zinkoff looks around. He doesn't see any dump. He wonders what dump Andrew's father was talking about. He can't look up at the rain gutter without the sun blinding him. When the official take your kid to work day arrives, Zinkoff watches Andrew go off to the city with his dad. Andrew wears a suit and tie. He looks like a little banker. 2 days later, Sunday, is Take Donald Zinkoff to Work Day. To prepare for the day, Zinkoff's dad has brought him a tall stack of envelopes and sheets of paper. Since there is no official mail to deliver on a Sunday, Zinkoff has to make his own mail. He writes letters, 40, 50, 60 letters and more. He writes words that he imagines people say in letters. He feels really grown up because the sheets of paper have no lines. He folds up the letters and puts them in the envelopes. He draws stamps in crayon in the upper right corners of the envelopes and writes addresses and puts the finished letters, 100 of them, into the mailbag. The Zinkoff family goes to church early that Sunday. 2 minutes after they get home, the town's newest mailman is ready. He takes the lunches from the refrigerator. They were packed the night before in 2 brown paper bags. He lets his dad carry the lunches himself. He lets his dad carry the lunches himself. He harnesses to the great leather bag. It hangs down to his heels. He hauls it across the living room floor, out the door, down the front steps, and across the sidewalk to the clunker. Somehow he manages to sit in the car without the mailbag on his back. Mr. Zinkoff is determined to make the day live up to his son's expectations. He knows Donald expects to travel a respectable distance to work, so he drives around for 15 minutes before pulling into the empty parking lot of a dentist 3 blocks from their home. The street is called Willow. Donald jumps from the car and starts off. His father grabs him. Whoa there, Nellie. He gives his son instructions. Start with the dentist, 1 letter to each house, no peeking in the mail slots, act professional. What does act professional mean, Donald wants to know. It means behave like a grown-up doing a job. That's what you're getting paid for. The boy gawks at his father. I'm getting paid? Sure. End of the day, $5. $5? Donald tries to leap for joy, but the mailbag holds him down. And one more thing, says his father. You can't be a real mailman, without this. He reaches into the back seat and pulls out a hat. And not just any hat, his own mail carrier hat. The postal blue, straw-like pitch helmet that he wears on hot summer days with his Bermuda shorts uniform. Donald is popping with pride. He puts on the helmet. Of course, it's too big and comes down to his ears and nose, but he couldn't care less. He adjusts the helmet as best he can and staggers off to the dentist's door, the mailbag thumping against his heels. The helmet wobbles on his head. He stops, turns, he calls, and one more thing, Dad. What's that? Be friendly. Mailmen are always friendly. That's right. Now get to work. The dentist's mailbox is at the edge of the parking lot. Donald swings the bag around so he can reach inside, grabs the letter, and places it in the box. He turns to his father in the car and raises his hand in triumph. Yes! 99 to go. He starts off down the block. A few of the houses on Willow are single homes with porches. The rest are brick row houses like his own. Some have mailboxes fixed to a railing. Some have slots in the front doors. The first house has a slot. Donald slips a letter through. He listens for it to land, but he cannot hear it. The slot is eye high. Quietly, with his finger, he pushes in the swinging brass flap. He takes off his helmet and scrunches his eyeball to the slot and strains to see the letter on the floor. All he can make out is a green carpet. He looks around some more, hoping to spot something interesting, but all he sees is an ordinary living room with furniture and a picture on the wall of 4 basset hounds playing cards. I wonder what his dad told him about this. No peeking! His father's voice pierces the jungle cat grumble of Clunker 4 prowling slowly along in the street. Donald lets the brass flapper swing down. He replaces his helmet and goes back to work. He discovers one thing right away. It is usually more fun to deliver mail to a door slot than to a mailbox. With a mailbox, no one even knows you're delivering. But with a slot, you're dumping the letter smack into the people's house, and sometimes they're right there on the other side of the door, and you can hear them. Mommy, Mommy, we got mail, he hears on the other side of one door. He pauses on the front steps to listen. There's no mail on Sunday, comes a mother's cranky reply. Yes, there is. There's mail on Sunday. Look. Donald walks off smiling. He feels like Santa Claus. At another house, just as he is about to push a letter through the slot, the door opens. Standing there is a 2-year-old wearing nothing but a diaper and a mouth smeared with chocolate. They stare at each other for a while. Then Donald says, "Mailman," and holds up the letter. "Mom, shh," says the 2-year-old. Donald can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. Whichever, its cheeks are bursting with food. The air is heavy with peanut butter. "You take it," says Donald. "Maybe it's a letter for you." The 2-year-old takes it in chocolatey fingers. Suddenly, he or she turns and runs, crying out, "Mom, Smarts!" Donald pulls the door shut. Several houses later, a kid is sitting on the top step. He looks like he's mad at somebody. The mailbox is bolted to the brick wall under the house numbers. Donald isn't sure what to do. Should he put the letter in the mailbox or give it to the kid? But what if the kid doesn't live here? "Do you live here?" says Donald. The kid gives him a glare, but no answer. The clunker grumbles in the street. Donald decides the kid probably does live here. He further decides that the professional thing to do will be to put the letter in the mailbox. He is reaching out to do so when the kid snatches the letter from his hand. The kid looks at the envelope. He makes a face. "This ain't no letter." "It's a letter," says Donald. "I'm delivering the mail. Look, this is my dad's mailbag." "This ain't no letter," the kid repeats. His lip curls into a sneer when he says the word letter. "This ain't no stamp, it's crayon. This ain't no address. You can't even read it." He rips open the envelope, "And this ain't writing, it's scribbles." He rips the letter in half and stuffs it back into the leather bag. Donald knows he's supposed to deliver the mail, despite rain, sleet, or snow, but what about mean big kids who tear your letter in pieces? He turns his eyes to Clunker 4. His father gives him thumbs up and points to the next house. Donald remembers. Be friendly. He gives the kid his best smile. "Nice to meet you," he says and moves on. Behind several doors, he hears dogs barking. Behind another, he hears a language he doesn't recognize. He hears bits and pieces of words and people sounds, and once a noise that sounds exactly like that of a flying dinosaur he saw in the movies. But of course, that couldn't be. Each time he tries to sneak a peek through a mail slide, his father calls, "No peeking!" But he can't help himself. There's a minute or two during which he has a strange thought. Actually, he doesn't really have the thought. His mind is trying to catch the thought as a cat tries to catch a shadow. That's a nice simile. Who's ever seen a cat try to catch a shadow? The thought, if he could catch it, would go something like this. Behind the front doors of houses, incredible, impossible things are happening. And as soon as you lift the mail flapper, they all disappear, and all you see is an ordinary living room. When he comes to the last house in the second block, 56 homes so far and one dentist, his father calls out, "Lunchtime!" I like that thought. Behind all those mail slots, incredible, impossible things are happening. But as soon as you open and flip it open, it all disappears. Thanks for your second day of language arts again. Be patient and flexible. Contact your teachers. Number one, that's really important that you maintain contact so we know you have access to technology and we know you're with us. If you're not contacting us in some way, whether it's replying to or responding to assignments or messaging us, we're going to assume you're not online and you're just not doing work, and that's going to be forwarded on to the office. So be flexible, be patient, contact your students, understand the schedule. You're only going to be getting 2 lessons from each of your teachers a week, and be awesome, be wonderful. It's great to see everybody, and reach out to me. I'd love to hear your voices.